Ever wonder what your city looked like 100 years ago? The streets, the shops, even the buildings that might still be standing today? These old fire insurance maps, called Sanborn maps, captured it all. They weren't meant to be art, but today they feel like time machines on paper. Hi, I'm Jamelyn. I've always loved history, old houses, genealogy, the little details that connect us to the past. A few years ago, I stumbled onto Sanborn Fire Insurance Maps, and I got hooked. These maps were drawn for insurance companies starting in the late 1800s. They recorded every building in a city, what it was made of, who owned it, where the water lines were, even where the fire hydrants sat on the street. I started diving into them because of my interest in old homes in my neighborhood and my love of genealogy. So what are these Sanborn maps? They were painstakingly drawn by surveyors for insurance companies. Literally color-coded guides to a city's risks and resources. Pink buildings meant brick, yellow meant wood frame, blue might mean the building was made of stone. They show fire stations, water lines, businesses, even the tiny details like what company ran the local factory. I started this channel because most people don't know these maps exist. They're tucked away in archives, but they're treasure chests of stories. I wanted to share that feeling of discovery and sense of being a detective with more people. Take these two maps for example. They're both cities in Texas, one everybody has heard of, and one that's not so famous. In this map from 1894, we see this two-story home built from wood frame with these dashed lines indicating a porch. This particular home was built in 1883, so it's been here for 11 years by the time the surveyor marked it on the Sanborn map. There are a couple of buildings in the back that are one story. The map doesn't indicate what these buildings were for. We just know that they were one story and listed with a D, which indicates dwelling or a house. Other houses in the neighborhood had a rectangle with an X through it, which indicates the building was a stable. When we look at the current map of this house, it shows that the house is still standing, although the back buildings are gone and the house has been added onto extensively. Over the years, the neighborhood around this home developed and grew, with so many of the other older homes being demolished, while this home has stood the test of time. Today, it's called the Allen Home, and it is an event venue for things like weddings and corporate events. In another map from 1920, you can see the Mobley Hotel in Cisco, Texas. The hotel was built in 1916, so it's just 4 years old when this map was drawn. The map indicates it was a two-story hotel made of brick for the main structure, with a front and back porch made of frame. The hotel is still standing today, as you can see in these Google Map images. The interesting thing about the hotel is that it was the first hotel purchased by Conrad Hilton, which began his family's ascent into the hotel and hospitality industry. These are just a couple of examples of the types of stories we'll cover on this channel. We're going to dive deep into the history of cities big and small, research the maps of famous places and see what they looked like 100 years ago compared to today, highlight the forgotten towns that once mattered, and research some of the beautiful old homes and neighborhoods that were surveyed for these insurance maps a century ago. Many of them have since been demolished, and the only memory of some of these homes is shown on these maps. And along the way, I've also turned some of these maps into prints for people who want a little piece of history on their walls, just like my husband and I did when we bought our home. That's at Montecito Print Co., my shop that's listed in the description below. But honestly, this channel isn't about selling maps. It's about uncovering stories together and chasing those rabbit trails that we find along the way. So, if you love hidden history, architecture, or just the thrill of discovering stories that were almost forgotten, I'd love for you to join me. Hit subscribe, leave a comment with your city, and maybe we'll explore it in a future video. These maps don't just show buildings, they show lives. And I think once you see them, you'll be hooked too. Thanks for stopping by. Let's explore these maps and the stories they hold together.